Israeli forces have attacked the Yemeni capital Sana'a a day after a Houthi drone hit an Israeli Red Sea resort. The Israeli military.
Heavens open with a flat, metallic light. Colonel David Levin is calm in the cockpit, call sign Sword 1, leading a dark package of F-15I ROMs slicing toward Yemeni airspace at 24,000 feet. The radios whisper only mission-critical chatter, MCON Alpha. No emissions, no betrayals, only breath and instruments. This isn't a routine sortie. Intelligence says the docks are moving weapons northward, material tracked back to Iran, bound for attacks that could touch home. For these crews, this is personal. Every decision has a face and a family behind it. The coastline unspools beneath a blue haze. Coastal humidity softens the world, turns everything into a watercolor smear. Levin watches the targeting display. Preloaded aim points for Berth 3 and Berth 7 at Houthi port. Thermal anomalies have been blinking on satellite imagery for days. Signatures that never match the routine rhythm of cargo logistics. On the HUD, an internal nav countdown ticks to the launch window, 87 seconds and closing. No GPS, no active radar. They are ghosts, relying on inertial grids and trained spacing to paint the target area from memory. The F-15I is a brute of a machine in a tailored suit. Twin Pratt and Whitney engines. A load bay configured for deep penetration, and 11 hardpoints that can carry the kind of ordnance that changes shorelines. Levin's formation breathes like clockwork, each jet a position on a metronome, each pilot a practiced limb of one intent. The aircraft fly precise, minimizing radar cross and maximizing surprise. This is what thousands of simulator hours buy you. The ability to move as one without saying a word. At 15:45, Sword 3 visually acquires the port cranes, steel silhouettes cutting the bay like cathedral spires. The targeting pod overlays thermal aim points, rectangles drawn in green against the murk. Levin feels the familiar tighten in his chest as the weapons officer arms the package. Those green triangles mean decisions that can't be unmade. The aircraft banks, the world shifts, and at 15:46:27, the first rampage detaches. The jet lightens as the missile clears its rail. Seconds later, the formation fractures into opposing vectors, leaving white contrails that ripple in the humid sky. The lightning pod wakes like an eye in the night. In wide search mode, its multispectral sensors peel through the haze, rendering the port in striking thermal clarity. Where satellite persistence offered suspicion, the pod offers certainty. A box truck backs into a western loading bay. Metal surfaces radiate heat in patterns consistent with stored munitions. One warehouse reads 4 degrees hotter than its neighbors. The pod auto-locks. The crew exchanges a single curt confirmation. They are on target. The Rafael Lightning 35 is more than a camera. It's a decision engine. FLIR, CCD, and a laser designator fused into one. Its coded laser pulses paint the aim point, and the seeker head of the Popeye recognizes the reflection, freezing a lock with surgical confidence. The crew verifies, Levin breathes out, weapons free. The missile slips into the sky and the pod immediately widens to record the reply. Battle damage assessment starts before the smoke clears. But the air is never quiet for long. Over the eastern quadrant, a thick cloud bank blossoms, moisture so dense that thermal eyes dim and optical confirmation frays. Passive sensing fails where water wins. Captain Sarah Navin, Sword 14, sits on a cliff edge of a decision. Preserve MCON and abort, or break radio silence and light the hottest of beacons. Active radar to see through the weather. The choice is weighty. Breaking Alpha risks alerting coastal defenses. Not breaking it risks missing hardened threats concealed beneath concrete and earth. She chooses to see. The APG-70 hums awake. In synthetic aperture mode, the radar maps contours through the cloud like a sculptor tracing a hidden statue. Sidelobe suppression buys some safety, but the act itself is a provocation. The display blooms, circular tank farms, rows of sheds, and a return northwest of the jetty with the signature of something far tougher than corrugated metal. Reinforced concrete, high density, steel in the mix. The machine calls it a bunker. The analysts call it a hardened facility. Either way, it's exactly what they came for. The Rampage missile, designed to cough through meters of reinforced concrete, receives the coordinates and drops clean. Navin peels away on a practiced vector, already plotting her egress. The missile lights its motor and a brief, furious arc of acceleration carries it toward the coast. Its carbon body glows, surfaces shimmy as the guidance fights crosswinds, and the seeker keeps the prescribed flight plan. In its final act, the Rampage tucks low and fast, skimming the ground to avoid detection and hammering the target with a kinetic punch that is all purpose and consequence. Satellite sensors catch the thermal bloom seconds later. The radar shows a crater where a bunker once was, and the networked feeds confirm successful penetration. Back at Houthi, another Rampage arcs toward Berth 3's crane foundation. The missile's hardened nose chews through rebar and concrete like a hot knife through a sail. The delay fuse times the detonation for maximum internal shock, and the resulting overpressure tears foundations apart. What took months to build collapses into a single second of engineered violence. Satellite imagery later will show a jagged scar along the dock line. Cranes toppled, concrete fractured, operations neutralized. And there is more. Lieutenant Colonel Abby Stern holds Sword 13 steady, a hand on the controls, a thumb on the data link. His Popeye carries a different promise, human eyes to the end. The missile flies with live video, a missile eye streaming back real-time to Stern's cockpit. He guides the weapon like a remote pilot, tiny corrections nudging the seeker to an optimal entry angle for a transformer station adjacent to the primary target. The goal is not only destruction but paralysis. Take out the power hub and you make the port a tomb of steel and smoke. At 500 meters, Stern's HUD freezes on the transformer's geometry. He tweaks heading, the missile obeys, and at the chosen moment, it slams into high-voltage infrastructure. Transformer oil ignites in an instant, tempers the fire into a furnace, and the lightning pod records the cascade. Flames climbing to temperatures that betray the scale of what just burned. Without electricity, cranes stop, conveyors go silent, security systems wink out. The port's nervous system is severed. A second final Popeye finds the fuel distribution node on the neighboring jetty. Its impact ruptures pressurized pipelines and a scalding torrent of fuel belches into the night. Flames, fed by flowing hydrocarbons, spread with an appetite that no hand can unfeed. Satellite feeds pick up a plume so hot it registers as a solid spectral signature visible for hundreds of kilometers. Within minutes, both ports are inert, smoke columns the only sign of life. The choreography of this strike is surgical but not antiseptic. There are decisions that are messy, breaking MCON, burning diesel, risking detection. There is also a strict choreography of timing that turns possibility into result. At 15:52, the tactical net begins to breathe again. Data links resume, pods sweep, the formation reforms. Debrief is already beginning in their heads even as they turn for home. The pilots speak in clipped phrases. There is relief, yes, but also the steady wash of professional appraisal. Target destroyed. Secondary explosions confirmed, no aircraft lost, mission success. On the ground, the human calculus is immediate and brutal. Workers who once moved pallets and maintained loaders now pick through wreckage. Power is gone. Dock operations stall not because a line was severed, but because the heart stopped. The hardened facility that once promised concealment is a furnace of rubble. Later, analysts will map supply chain disruptions, and the strategic picture will shift for months. Here and now, men and machines cease a function that had reached a dangerous tempo. From the sky, it is over in a breath. From the horizon, the smoke is a new coastline. From the pilot's perspective, there is a quiet that presses in, an aftershock of adrenaline, an inventory of choices made in a matter of minutes that will echo in diplomatic rooms, shipping manifests and family kitchens for weeks. Back aboard the formation, Levin watches the horizon swallow the last of the orange bloom. He flips the comms back to encrypted chatter, a single line of acknowledgement that repairs and reasserts the mission's finality. The F-15I's twin engines murmur at cruise as they turn away from the burned ports and toward the long flight home. The lightning pods record one last pass for the books. The data will become proof, corroboration for intelligence threads and strategy meetings. There are no cheers, only the quiet relief of professionals who measure success by effect, not celebration. The reports are filed, satellites confirm impact, and a supply line that once fueled conflict is cut in silence. For those in the cockpit, it was a mission. For those on the ground, it was devastation. Yet behind the precision and violence lies a single truth. The strike was meant to shield cities, protect homes, and alter tomorrow's battles. Colonel Levin turns west, climbing for home. If you want more untold stories like this, don't forget to subscribe.